Have you ever wondered why Christianity is represented by the symbol of a fish, particularly with those Greek letters in it? Well, perhaps in order to explain it, you need to realize first that the Greek word for fish is ichthus. And you take the letters of ichthus and make an acrostic. They say Jesus, Christ, God's Son, Savior. And you see, that's the very essence of the gospel. Still, I suppose the question could remain, why choose that symbol? Isn't there some other way that they could get across that basic message in a symbol fashion? I suppose so, and yet remember that Jesus was frequently associated with fish. For example, Matthew chapter 14, he fed 5,000 with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. The very next chapter, he fed 4,000 with 7 loaves and a few fish. He said on one occasion, "You'll have the sign of Jonah. As Jonah was in the belly of the big fish for 3 days and 3 nights, so the Son of Man shall be in the heart of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights." Or again, I think of how he called his disciples to be fishers of men. How about the large catch of fish, Luke chapter 5, and there are many others, too many to mention perhaps. The early Christians needed some symbol. They were persecuted, the 1st and 2nd centuries particularly. Sometimes they needed a symbol to represent their meeting place, and the persecutors didn't understand. Or picture a lone traveler out by himself. He meets a group, or just one who's much bigger and stronger. He's in danger. That's what travel meant in that day and time. But picture him then taking his sandal in the sand and drawing half of the symbol of the fish. And then picture someone else in that opposing group who draws the other half. He knew he was safe. He was with brothers. And they needed that in that day. I don't know that we need a symbol today, but we do need the message. Jesus. The very word at the announcement to Mary was that he'll save his people. Christ. It's almost to be considered as a title rather than another name for him. It means the anointed one. You can make it the chosen one. God's Son. Do you remember Matthew chapter 3 and again in Matthew chapter 17? God said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." He's God's Son. He's divine. And then that last, the sigma, stands for Savior. He is the Savior of the world. And that's what makes the whole symbol personal and eternal. Perhaps the way to say that best of all is by the words of the Apostle Paul. I refer to what I hope are familiar words from Titus chapter 2. He says, "The grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation unto all men, instructing us to the intent that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world, looking for the blessed hope of the great appearing of our God and Savior Jesus Christ, who gave himself up for us, that he might redeem us from all iniquity, and purify unto himself a people for his own possession, zealous of good works." Do you want to use the symbol of the fish on the bumper of your car, or maybe around your house? That's fine. Whether you use the symbol or not, remember the message. Jesus, the Christ, God's Son, Savior.